Not no idea what time it is, but anyhow, let me just do an old-fashioned mystery vlog. And for those of you that have been watching for a long time, you know what that's all about. Hold on, let me just get the lighting better on here. Okay. Now you can say I'm on the road right now. I was on the road. I don't know what time it is. It is the middle of the night. Well, no, it's getting closer to morning right now. So, I have to do a video, and I need your help. I'm doing research into astrology, and I'm going to put this on my astrologer's channel. And if you get a chance, go over there. If you're at all open-minded into the sciences of expansion, the science of the future, then I suggest you go over there to astrologers, and you're really going to be quite amazed. Now, I am exploring right now two things, and concerned with two planets. And there's been a lot of talk in the recent videos that I watched regarding the idea of Saturn and the planet Saturn. So those are two different things, because there's a mythology of Saturn, and then there's the planet that astronomy is observing. So astronomy, in the modern science of it, and the astronomers, they propose to study the material aspects, and that's it. So that is a perfect example of what we call materialism or materialistic philosophy. They don't call it a philosophy, they just assume that it's fact. They think that they have everything to prove it, that that's reality, but a careful examination will see that they are a belief system just like any other in the past, or currently what's going on now with any kind of a cult. So this is a rather large cult, and they have a large system of supposed colleges of knowledge. But let's not get too deep into that. We're talking about Saturn and the different ideas that come out about it. And on the other hand, we're talking about Jupiter. And that's another planet from the astronomical standpoint, and also from an astrologer's standpoint. And I'm also talking about astrology not in terms of the zodiac and newspaper horoscopes, which is probably the most stereotypical, blatant example of the bad reputation that this science has gotten. And that's why we are down in the gutter because of that. But I am doing this research for all of your edification, of those of you who have realized that there is something to this, and there's quite a bit. Saturn and Jupiter, this is just scratching the surface. And the interesting thing, before we get into the details of it, is that the Jupiter cycle is basically a 12-year cycle, which I connect with the solar cycle itself. The way that the sun goes through its ups and downs, and solar maxima, solar minima. We're right now either in the middle of a solar maxima phase, or getting into it, starting the solar maxima. And some people say that it will continue to increase to its height of this phase sometime into next year. So we're in the spring of this year, and looking at the earthly year, more than a year from now it will keep going on. Although others are of the opinion that it couldn't quite last that long. It's going to be done maybe in less than 6 months. So we shall see, because these cycles are not exactly pinpointed to the 12-year, annual type of things, which that's just totally abstract anyhow, to do annual holidays and this and that, where the only things that are constant, relatively somewhat constant, are the quarters of the year, the solstice and the equinox. And then you can plan things around that. That's the most regular, and that's why pagans keep to that. That's why a lot of other things, even many calendars, use that for reckoning. Now, Jupiter and Saturn are going to be very interesting to illustrate some points. We have just finished a 6-year major period, and I relate that to YouTube. I did a video which not very many people saw on completing my first 6 years and the inception of the second 6 years, which is going to be a reflection of the first one. So I'm just now in the first few months of it, not even 2 months, as far as I have timed it, and this whole video sharing thing has reached a culmination of a 1/2 cycle is really a point where you start to get into conflict with why you started anything. And it's actually a prelude to the 7-year itch, and the 7-year period is well known in culture and myth and tradition and superstition. 7 has a little bit to do with Jupiter, and coincidentally, a lot more to do with Saturn. So Jupiter kind of hands off, introduces, is what I mean to say, over to Saturn. So Jupiter is a 6-year thing, and as you finish the 6th year, you're literally just going to give way to a Saturn cycle, which is not a half cycle of 7 years. That is a 7-year quarter cycle. So hopefully I've kept your attention. This stuff is very technical and it's advanced. This is not really for the beginning astrologer, but if you have an interest, I'm sure that you're picking up things here and there, and it's enough to move you along into such a fascinating realm of consciousness and exploration of our human reality. Well, please follow the link. If you have the time, go over to the Astrologers channel, and the series is going to unfold as we speak.